Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of Against All Odds. And as I say at the beginning of every podcast, it's purely a selfish reason why I record these episodes because I get to speak to inspiring people. And today I've been so excited for this episode. Lara, Caine, how are you, my lovely?
I'm good, thank you.
So you are a relationship slash love coach,
Yes.
and I've got you on because, like we were saying before the podcast, I believe that people struggle with relationships, whether it is intimate relationships with work colleagues, like across the board, relationships are hard to deal with at times.
Very.
So you are like this shining light
Yeah.
amongst it all. So I'm so
Yeah.
excited to have you on.
Yeah. We were talking about relationships, and I just realised I haven't even sort of, although like I love focusing on love. I understand all the different dynamics and roles that we play within within relationships in general, and the drama triangles we can go around. And I've even done some work recently within a business because they needed helping out. Like if somebody's not happy, like an employee's not happy, it has an effect on everyone. And so it really does, like, family, work,
Yeah, yeah.
life, everything. It really affects our happiness, in every area of our life.
Yeah, it is. And I started following you on social media. I was like, God, I can resonate with that. I can resonate with that. I
I
can
love that.
resonate.
That's what I like. That is what you hope that people are like, can totally connect with, your message, and that the people who you want to see, like, you just hope that that day that somebody needs to see that message, or and it helps somebody.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. So, how did you get into this? Because it's not something that you fall
Yeah.
into, is it?
For lived experience. So the hard way.
Yeah.
So well, I'll try and do this in a short as possible. So I've been I was a hairdresser for over 25 years. So from when I left school to 16 to like a couple of years ago, and I'm like 45 now. And so I've worked one-on-one with women my whole life, which is kind of like, I mean, that's set me in good stead because just there's so many transferable skills, and that
Yeah.
one-to-one, creating a safe space, and like I am totally unshockable. But also then when I was about 20, I came across self-development books, and I just fell in love with self-development. So my whole life I've kind of just studied it just for fun, just for me, just because I felt quite, I don't know, like quite empty, and I didn't really understand myself, and I didn't know why I felt a certain way. And then every book I would read, I would learn something about myself. And especially like relationships were quite a sticking point for me. I would, like, from when I started dating, from like the age of, I don't know, like 16 or whatever, I just would have kind of, not all of them, but in general, like I would attract people who, like, they'd had quite a difficult childhood, like they needed sort of, I don't know, I felt like they needed rescuing or saving, or like I was like a magnet to them. I
Why
think
do we do that?
if you're an empathic person, and it's like, so had had a couple of really awful controlling relationships, and like, what would be called coercive control now, but I didn't realize it then because it's like, you know 20 years ago or like whatever. So I had really, like, went through some really difficult relationships, and then I got to the age of about 32, 33, and I just looked around, but they were getting worse. They weren't getting better. And I just sort of looked at my sister and my friends, and they all had these, like, what I would call good quality guys, like, like emotionally safe and good quality and emotionally available, and just like, just lovely men. And I was like, why have they all got this, and why do I keep getting this same, like,
Yeah.
and it's getting worse, like, why am I getting that and they're getting this? And I remember thinking, I can't go through this again. And I just, so I think you have to get to a point where you're like, you go around the same cycle until you're like, I can't go around this cycle of shit again. So I remember going to a coach, finding a life coach, and just saying, you need to rewire my brain where it comes to men, because, like,
I'm
it's a
attracted.
disaster. Yeah. So I think quite quickly I realised that, oh, it's because I don't love myself. And I even remember, like, at the time, Googling, I'm thinking, okay, well, I know, but okay, I know why that's okay. It's because I don't love myself, I don't feel worthy. How do you love yourself? Because if you've never been taught, and
Yeah.
it's really bandied around on like the internet now, like, and a lot of people don't know what it actually really means and the layers of that work. And also, if you like, you if your parents didn't know, or if your mum didn't know, whatever, they can't teach you what they didn't know. Do you know what I mean? So you're
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
yeah, so I went basically just did a deep dive. I had some coaching sessions. I went like deep on the internal work, even more with myself. And then actually within 3 months, I met my husband. It was happened really when I sort of realised that, oh, all the choices I've made, good and bad, they are my decisions, and that's where they come from, and it's from my beliefs. And I worked on changing my beliefs of, like how what I believe was possible, my worthiness, and all of the things. And yeah, very quickly, then Lewis just turned up in my life. But if
I'll
I
pay for
hadn't
it
of,
back.
but I would say like if I hadn't have worked on myself, I even if he had have shown up, I would have ruined it. Because I would have held myself differently. I would have acted differently. I would have, like it would
Yeah.
have just, yeah. I know that I would have dealt with certain situations very differently and even a very different outcome. But because I saw myself differently and my self identity around love and
Hmm.
just like I don't know, it's just what you feel worthy of, and somebody will only love you as much as what you love yourself. Somebody will only treat you as well as you treat yourself,
Yeah.
and all of those things. So it really is. I know the importance, and I know how quickly things can transform, and I know what it feels like to feel like, oh, like what is it I'm not getting, and like what, or like what's wrong with me, or like why am I, like not really understanding, and knowing exactly what it takes to change and to change what you attract. And it's vibrational, it's energetics, it's and once you've done that, the people who you'd attracted before, they just cannot show up in your like vibration. And even if they did, you wouldn't be attracted to them and they wouldn't be attracted to you anymore because of your emotional wounds don't match.
I love that because you do meet people where you're at, don't you?
Yeah, and I would say that you can literally look back on, and I know myself, God, I look back on my past relationships, and every relationship you have is a kind of a mirror of the relationship you have with yourself at that time. And I'm like, oh God.
It's a bit cringy, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's so true. And then so the work it's not really about changing other people, because like it's like I kind of heal the relationship women have with themselves, and when you do that, then your outer world automatically changes. So it's quite, so you don't really need to do very much. You just need to like, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world, so it's just tending to all the parts that need tending to change the what shows up for you. And also you can never receive anything that you don't feel worthy of, and quite often there is a lack of worthiness even if you feel very worthy in other areas of your life, like work, for instance, if you're a high achiever. And we all have our sticking points.
Yeah. Would you say like your self-worth goes down after like a few relationships because
Yeah,
it'll knock your confidence without a shadow
yeah,
of a doubt, must it?
yeah.
But your self-worth, like, because you must be going like, what's wrong with me?
Well,
What?
if you don't have, I mean, this was my issue. I didn't have any self-esteem really, like, so it was, or if whatever I did, so you're attracting people who would not want you having boundaries anyway, and even if you did have some boundaries, they'd very quickly, the one would have been very shaky because you just want
Yeah.
to be loved, so like you prioritize the other person over yourself, and it's just about like, God, no, keeping them. And so you can really, it's very easy to abandon yourself. So, but then obviously if you have a bad relationship, yes, it really knocks your confidence, it really knocks your
Mm-hmm.
self-esteem, and it really makes you doubt your, like a lot of the work also do is about rebuilding trust in yourself and your choices, because I know that's when we talk about that post I did yesterday about
Yeah.
psychics. I stopped trusting myself, and then I started asking psychics for advice. I'm nothing against psychics, but the the advice wasn't great. Like obviously after when you see then the outcomes of things, and I was like, God, I would never even like that person. Like, but oh yes, that guy's gonna be great. And like, he's not even my type at all. So
Yeah. And
it's
you paid for
yeah, but
that
I'm out.
advice as well.
Yeah, and it's just outsourcing. But the universe is going like wants you to trust yourself. It wants you to listen to yourself and your gut, and to not abandon yourself. And so then that you're just making choices from fear rather than love. and then
Yes.
nothing good will come from that. And I know, so like, you know, when you learn to only make choices from love and not fear, then also the outcome changes. And also when when you feel confident enough to speak up for yourself and your needs and ask for your needs to be met, and not worry that if that what if I lose that person? Well, if you do, they weren't right for you. You know, if they're only there just to, you know, for you to just accommodate them, and they don't care about your boundaries and your needs, because a quality man will care. Like they'll want you to have healthy boundaries for yourself and to be able to state your needs, and vice versa.
Yeah, interesting. And we were saying about how it's harder as we get older, because we have a lot more going on, don't we? We have more responsibilities,
Yeah.
a lot more fear.
Yeah, there's more fear, because you're just like, I hear quite often, you know, it's one of the biggest fears is, what if I attract the same type of person again? That's a big fear. Or like the fear of rejection, or the fear of loss, or not wanting to go through any more pain. So you've got the fear, then you, like you said, more lived experiences, maybe a bit more jaded about it. Then also it's like, you're, you know, if you've got children and you're working and trying to do all of those things, and dating is just like another like admin job to do, because you've got
Yes.
down, like you can do like online all day or whatever. They're like, oh, I've got to go online, and like, you know, so it's yeah, it's trying to making it fun again, because then if you go on the apps and you're in that energy, and you're like, oh god, I suppose I better have a look. I don't like, you know, it's gonna be awful. You're going on there in the wrong energy anyway, so that you're going to attract like the dregs. So it's, and I know it is like, I know it can be another job. It's just about like, everything is just trying about getting you into a good energy. And I think even when you go on the apps, we're on our own algorithm there, so the energy we go on there is going to be like the, you know, or you'll attract somebody who's happy or as unhappy as what you are. So it's, you know, it's
Yeah.
lots of energetics at play too.
Yeah, that's it. And I think us women as well, we kind of get into the independent mode as well. I
Yeah,
have been massively guilty of that in the
yeah,
like literally going, no, I've got my own house, I've
yeah,
got a job that pays, like literally, it's like I have no need for a man. So you start to get in the mindset of,
yeah.
I'm a strong, independent woman, I have no need for that. And it almost becomes like an identity. You have to be really
Yeah,
careful with it.
yes, yeah, you do. I think also because you just want to feel safe. Like most of our, like there's three things it comes down to. Like, you know, we want to be in control, we want safety, and we want approval. And you don't want to put yourself at risk again. You want to feel safe. So, and then if you can financially, you know, like you can support yourself and stuff. It's not about like, not about needing somebody, but you can still want somebody. And I think it's become like, somebody said to me the other day, it's become quite tricky. Like it's a toxic thing online at the moment. It's not that you should have to be with somebody, but I truly believe that, like, because it seems to be this thing online about like, that's the thing about like not being in a relationship or not wanting to be in a
There is
relationship.
a lot,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, but I think when you're loved right by the right person, like I feel like love is a fundamental human need, and when anything like us or anything else is loved right, you flourish. And I believe that, like, you know, then also that has a knock on effect. Every area of your life gets better, even work, because you feel supported as long as it's with the right person in the right way. And I've seen women who have definitely got their shit together, got a really their full good life. But then when they have finally met somebody, it's like they just look like they just lit up. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
So
yeah.
it's just, if you want somebody who's going to come and they're not going to, it's not like you don't need rescuing, you don't need saving. It's the cherry on the top of the cake. It's like they only add to your life. They make your life better. They don't make your life harder. They don't take away from your life. And it's not that
Yeah.
you're looking for somebody to make you whole. It's just that, you know, the cherry on the top of the cake. And that,
Yeah.
you know, I think that everyone wants to be loved, really. That's just my
Yeah.
opinion.
That's it. But it's sometimes that fear gets in the way. So,
Yeah.
so you talk about self love, because I like, if you go on Facebook or Google and type in self love,
Yes.
you will get loads of
Yeah.
like a candle.
Like a candle would have a bath.
And I was saying, I was like, I mean, that's
Yeah. I mean, I think that, like, like there's a place for that. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't sound like, that's probably the idea people have got of self-love, but that's just like taking care of yourself a little bit, like, you know, not running yourself into the ground, not burning out when you're tired, like resting, like nurturing yourself like you would a child. And we do touch on, I do touch on that, like just check that when I'm working with women, like they are treating themselves like they would want, like treat yourself like you would want some, like your ideal partner to treat you. So like, you know, that could be them running you a bar
Yes.
or bringing you a nice cup of tea and having a lay in bed, or just, you know, just like speaking to yourself in a really nice way, because sometimes we speak to ourselves like in a bit of a
Yeah.
give ourselves a very hard time, speak to ourselves how we would never speak to anybody else. So, you know, like those things need to be in check. But there's the layers, there's lots of other layers of sort of self-love as well, and about our beliefs and our worthiness, and, you know, how we see ourselves, and, you know, just how we treat ourselves in all of the ways, not just about pampering. You know, it is a self-talk.
And that's quite, it's quite hard work as well, isn't it? Because it means that you have to learn who you are.
Yeah, and you have to, it's there's like, so then there's creating new habits, because obviously nothing just happens in one session or just overnight. So then I think that's why it's always easier when you've got like a coach to go, eyes on you, because it's, you know,
Yeah.
everyone's different, and to be like, but this is what we need to work on for you, and gives you small bite-sized chunks, so you're not trying to like make big change and then you go, oh, it's too overwhelming, I can't do all of that, you know. So it's bringing in small daily habits, which then eventually create the lasting change. The new beliefs become your own beliefs, and things like that, you know, the way you see yourself changes. And I think that it's very hard to do that by yourself, even with all the information, because also there's so much information out there, it can almost be like information overload and you don't know where to
Yeah.
start. But it is like, I think I put this in a post the other day, it's kind of find somebody who is, you know, whatever it may be that you want to work on, whether it's love, business, whatever, who is, you know, they have got the goal, they've achieved the outcome that you want, you know, it's what it says on the tin, you know. So
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
not like a money coach who's got no money, for instance, or a love coach who's got no love. Know that they've achieved what you've achieved, because that is, you kind of like, when you work in close proximity with somebody like that, it's like almost like putting like a log that's just simmering away next to a burning log that's like really on fire, and that consciousness catches light. So somebody's
Yeah.
very conscious in that area, and I always talk about it's like, I'll ignite, I know what to do to help ignite that within you. And it's very hard to do. I know myself, like, even with all the knowledge that how many years I've been studying all of this stuff, when they still have stuff come up for myself, I still need somebody else to activate those things, because sometimes you're too close to your own stuff,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah. Yeah.
and there's always more to learn, isn't there? So
There
it's just
is. Yeah.
finding somebody who you're drawn to, like, it's like, give me the blueprint, do you know what I mean? Just tell me what to do and I'll do it, because I don't want to go down any more rabbit holes.
Yeah. Can't spend any more time on Google. Just
Yeah.
absolutely. What about Google and social media and that? Do you think that has a impact?
What's that, sorry?
Social media has an impact, because if you're seeing constantly like
Yeah.
people happy everywhere, they're maybe going on holiday, their partner
Yeah.
probably spoils them rotten. If you are struggling in a relationship or single, that's bound to make you feel worse.
Yeah. Or you just think, oh, like, I was going to swear then, but like,
You can swear, I
I'm
swear
like,
all the time
just
on
you
here.
say fuck off properly, don't you? You're like, oh, fuck off, like, and it's not that like you don't like feel not jealous of it. It's just like you think, well, when is it my turn? Do you know what I mean? And also, you only seeing the airbrushed pieces of people's lives,
Yeah.
so I think there's the comparison thing, and then it can, if you're feeling down, it can make you feel worse. But then also, then it's the if, for instance, once you start watching one video, say for instance, if you're watching about dating or love or relationships and attachment styles or whatever it is, then you'll start being shown more. And I think the thing is, we're almost so, like, there's so much more education out there now, but then that can also that can create overwhelm,
Yeah.
information overload. And also then you could think you're suddenly an expert when it comes to stuff, and like, so you could maybe rule somebody out, thinking, oh well, are they love bombing me, are they gaslighting me, before you even really know. So that's also why it's good to have somebody who's like a trained professional to use as a sounding board. So like as a coach, I won't tell you what to do, because that would be like rescuing you. I will help you tap into your own wisdom and guide you in the right direction, so you like so then you learn to start trusting yourself again. So it removes the overwhelm and the overthinking when you get stuck in loops in your head and you start,
Yeah.
doing all of those things. And so you wouldn't necessarily rule somebody out too quickly, or maybe saying something longer than what you should, wasting your time as well.
Yeah.
So it's just so lovely to have somebody like friends and family. You can speak to them, but it's they're only coming from their own lived experiences, their 3 or 4 relationships they've had, their emotional wounds. So it's not going to be a trained professional asking you very powerful questions, who's totally removed from your life, who knows how to guide you and isn't involved with you. They've got your best interest at heart, but they're going to be very calm
So
and
they can only
anchored
give an
about
opinion
it.
on their
Yeah.
own experiences and their own beliefs as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, exactly. And they're
Yeah.
so well meaning, but obviously, there's a you're trained to do things, and you're like, so it's a certain way of doing it, and it's not like you're not bringing your own stuff into it. You've got your wisdom
Yeah.
there, but you're helping them tap into their own wisdom and like the journey that they're on, and guide them to sort of make healthier decisions as well.
I love that. So they're answering their own questions.
Yeah. In the end, that
Yeah.
does happen. Like it happens quicker and quicker, and in the end, like, and I know with myself, like on that journey, it's like there comes a point where you just do it naturally for yourself, and you don't doubt yourself anymore, and your boundaries are so healthy for yourself and with others, and how you expect to be treated and how you see yourself, and just and you're willing to let things fall away, and you have a clarity a lot better. You don't overthink so much, and you don't overgive, and
Yeah.
all of those things.
Yeah. I love that, because we can be people pleasers as well, can't we, in
When you
relationships?
see, yeah, absolutely, and that is like that's so normal. I feel women especially, like be a good girl. Don't a lot of girls or women have been trained to everyone else's emotions are more important than your own. Like just be a good girl. Don't speak up for yourself. Keep everybody happy or whatever.
Yeah.
So and also then it's that seeking of approval, and really like it's about I would want women to be like not seeking approval, to be like, I approve of myself, and so from there you make really much better decisions, because you're so much more, you're not seeking somebody else's approval or seeking love, because you've already given that to yourself. And then the right
Yeah.
person, you don't need to earn love, but I definitely felt when I was young I had to earn love, so and like prove myself, and thinking the other person's emotions were much more, so loads of people pleasing, no boundaries, like
Yeah. Boundaries like elastic bands. In there as well.
Yeah,
We live and
exactly.
learn, don't we? We do live and
Yeah.
learn.
Hopefully we do, because life will keep giving us the same problem, the same person, the same situation, the same issue,
Yeah.
until we're like, oh, I can see the hole there. I'm not going to fall down. I'm going to walk around it this time. And then
Yeah.
I've learned a lesson.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, we can move on from that one now. We'll give you something better.
Yeah. Absolutely. So when it comes to fear, because fear is a big thing, and then like I say, I think especially if you're older or you've been through a few relationships
Yeah.
where it's just like you said, I can't go through that again.
Yeah.
That was too much. And the easiest thing in the world is to lock yourself away.
Make loads of excuses why it's not the right time to, for instance, with like dating. Oh, when I get this contract done, when I lose half a stone, when the kids are a little bit older, because all of that is coming from, it's just putting blocks in your way because you don't want to deal with the thing, or like overwork, consume yourself with work, because then you've got no time to think about anything else, and you can do that so well. So it's like a lot of it is also finding out what the fears are of that particular person I'm working with, and then dissolving the fear, working with them to dissolve it, so
So
that
how do you start dissolving fear? Because we are, I mean, the job I do, I know our brain's there to keep us safe.
Yeah.
And,
It's
it's
quite subconscious, isn't it?
yeah. So it's like, how do you sit? Like, how if somebody sat there going like, "Well, I can't go out dating. I'm working too much. Like, I'm too busy. Like, I haven't got time for that," and you can tell it's fear.
Yeah.
How do you even start to get somebody?
I think first of all, I think again, like a real help, I feel like, is knowing that you're not doing it on your own this time. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got, I see coaching is I'm holding their, like, I'm going to walk with you. I'm going to hold your hand through this. You're not doing this on your own. I'm going to support you every step of the way, and so I feel like just that, firstly, alone, just knowing that someone's doing it with you, that you haven't got to figure it all out, and that there's nothing to, like, fear is really just the lack of love. So, by asking the powerful questions, that can help to dissolve the resistance, because it's just like, and the fear is, like you say, we want to keep ourselves safe, but quite often there's things at play that have kept us safe when we're a lot younger, but now are working against us. So we needed it to survive at one point, but now actually it's blocking us, like, thriving. And that can be, like, sometimes obviously doing some inner child work, and also like IFS, internal family systems, and, like, maturing these parts, and also knowing that that no matter what, you're going to be all right, and so, but as you learn to trust yourself more as well, then that fear also dissolves. So I would say it's like lots of different parts, and I think that what I really do is I love them until they love themselves, and then when they love themselves, they track that
Yeah,
healthy, available love. So it's just like, I suppose it's all that real nurturing experience which helps gradually dissolve, just like bit by bit. We don't
yeah,
expect miracles happen in the first session, but it's just like guiding you and just feeling like you're really held and you're really supported, and you're not figuring it all out by yourself, and we can work through those different layers to gradually dissolve it.
yeah. I love that. I do love that. Do you think the modern day? I mean, social media is great. We're more connected than ever, but
Yeah,
more isolated than ever. It's
yeah,
quite shocking. Do you think it's
yeah.
harder to date now than it was like 10, 15 years ago, probably 20 years ago?
Yeah, I I suppose I'm not dating myself right now, but I know I felt that fatigue even when oh God, I can't remember how long ago it was now, but say like 20 years ago, like 15, yeah, 20 years ago, whatever it was, because the apps were still quite a big thing then, and it's like that, it's an emotional roller coaster. You'd get yourself excited, and then and you think you can make somebody be whatever you want them to be, and then you meet, and then you're disappointed there's no chemistry or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's good. Like, I always just try to say to people, look, it's what we're going to do is we're going to work on your internal world, and I just want you to have as many ways of the universe bringing the perfect person to you, in the right way. So be on the apps, but it hasn't got to be your main focus. Obviously it's good to also, if you do have time, I know not everyone's like lacking in time, but if you have time to go, like, take the invites to different things that you get, like, go to many different places as you can. Like, if you do have time to, like, if you have like, want to have a hobby which somebody like-minded, you could meet them that way. But just
Mhm.
you've got to have ways for the universe to bring that person to you. You don't have to figure out how it's going to happen. So, like you say, we are more connected, but it can feel like also then people don't want to commit, and they're just talking to everybody, and
Yeah.
and it's like, or they take too long. I hear, it's quite often, but then a man who is emotionally available, secure in himself, knows how to lead himself as well as you, will just, they will would come. I have heard, hear this from clients once they've gone through a bit of a journey with me working, then suddenly, like, somebody turns up and they're like, very quickly they ask them on a date, they secure the date, they plan the date, and it's completely different treatment to what they've had before. But also, so it's your energy changes as well, and
Yeah.
so I just think that it's good to maybe maybe it is hard, but then I think if we tell ourselves it's hard, it's going to be hard as well. So it's like
Yeah.
tell yourself, oh, there's no good men out there, or all the good ones are taken. Well, that the universe will go, that's going to be your truth. So you want to be like thinking there's more people single than ever. Like there's loads of amazing single guys out there. Dating is actually easy. Dating is actually fun. Like a really so it's yeah. Unfortunately, like what we're even telling ourselves becomes true. So
Yeah.
it's it really have to knuckle down on the beliefs,
Yeah.
and it's also a lot of it is living in the getting them into the energy of being in love before it's here, being in the end result, which can be really hard when they say or hard for them to how do I do that when they feel like they've never been prioritized or they've never been loved the way that they wanted to be loved. So how do I get in the energy of that? But again, that I sort of support them to do that, and that helps change it. So it's a bit. That's where I suppose it's science. People can say manifestations or woo woo, but it's not. It's scientific. It's
Yes, it is.
so
Yeah.
it's not. But it's a bit like you've got to water the seed before you see the plant, and you can't keep digging up, going, well, where's the plant? Because you well, nothing's happening, or like, where's my shit? Like I've been saying these affirmations for like a week now, like
Nothing's happening.
yeah. So it's kind of like just focusing on yourself, keeping in the energy, and also I think that's again another thing that coaching helps with. It's somebody like who helps you supports you to keep you in a high vibe. So if, for instance, you get ghosted or a date doesn't go well, or somebody you like and they're not as keen with you or whatever, you don't make it a story about yourself. It's just like, no, like just trust that like rejection is protection, and there's something better for you, and they don't let them spiral and start making this a whole story about the negative story about themselves. So you've got to stay in the vibration of love and of excitement and of worthiness, and knowing it's like happened before it happens, really, as well. So that's another element.
When you said about like visualizing it already
Yeah.
happening, I bet that works to help with the fear as well, doesn't it? Because your brain's already there, and then you
So
realise you feel all right and safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I definitely, and I always mention this to clients, because I think it really helped. Something I did when I was in that 3 months from work, when I was like really doing a deep work on myself. I used to walk my sister's dog every day, and nobody told me to do this, but I just felt like drawn to do it. So I thought I'm gonna choose my wedding song, and I'm gonna listen to it. And so I chose Casey and JoJo all my life, and I used to listen to it like when I was walking the dog on repeat, and I just imagine myself on my wedding day with my perfect person for me, just having like the best time, and it would just. I was just there, and that energy, because you can start working on your beliefs, but you have to have the energy, the feeling with it. And I think visualizing with the energy of actually being in love before I was in love, and being there on my wedding day with the right person, I definitely think that definitely plays a part in magnetizing it to you. So if you can try and I suppose music can be very igniting as well, so like that. I always feel like that's a really good technique to use. And then I met Lewis, and then that was our wedding song, and it was like,
oh, I love
beautiful
that.
and lovely, and like there's like dry ice, and we were just singing to each other, and it's beautiful. So it's, I don't know, I feel like the energetic side and the feeling side of it, and seeing yourself in the picture with all the feelings, and anything you can do to ignite that, like to be in the end result, and the trust that it's already yours, which can be, it can be hard sometimes to do.
Yes, because I was about to say, if you say to somebody, right, if you can visualize yourself, let's say in 2 years' time, what does it look like? If somebody's running on fear, that would be hard for them to
or lack,
kind of tell
we
you.
we have lack, it's kind of like, that is what's easy to do is also easy not to do. And so those daily practices, like working on changing your beliefs, working on calming your nervous system down, and learn how to using tools to anchor yourself, and then doing visualization, and and the day. A lot of people. That's why a lot of people can't be asked, to be honest, because actually you have to do it for a good. I always say, like, with some of these habits, they need to be done 2 to 3 months, like every day for 2 to 3 months, and all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, that belief is actually now my own. Whereas when I first started saying it, I was like, oh, yeah, whatever that, like, I'm saying it but I don't believe it, so it's the consistency, and it's like being really committed to yourself. And I think that I was really committed, and I still do, even whatever the next thing is that I'm working on, I do commit to the daily boring practices, because I know it works. Or not boring, but like some days you're like, oh, I can't be bothered, I don't have time, but you've just got to make time, because it. And I think that consistency helps. And I'm with clients who have literally done everything I've said, like they just run with it. A-star student, even when they're like, I've never done all this stuff before, like, okay, I'll give it a go, but they're dubious about it. They're like, it does what actually work,
That's it. You know what it is? I think because it's a simple technique, isn't it? Yeah. And I think as humans, we like to make things more complex.
Yeah. Or sabotage ourselves.
Sabotage. So it's like they'll win it off because it's like, no, that won't work. It's too easy.
Yeah.
So they're not even going to try it.
No, exactly.
That's the thing. We are complex things, aren't we?
You have to be open-minded, and you have to really trust and believe the person. That's why I think it's really hard to do by yourself, and you just need somebody who has got the, like, they've been where you have, but they have got the outcome that you want, and they do, they know the way. And so it's, even if it's business you're working on, I'm just like, well, just tell me what the next steps are, tell me what to do, and I'll do it, because they're already where you want to be, so it's just finding somebody who you trust, you have that rapport with, you feel drawn to, and that they have actually done what they've said, and they have got what they said, and they are where they've achieved what you want to, and they also understand what it feels like to feel like where you are at the moment as well, that they've actually they've walked that path, they know what it is. And I think that's why, I know how it feels like to feel not good about yourself, or to not have the right healthy relationship, and I know how good it feels to have it, and what I had to do to get there. There was definitely a lot of keeping the faith.
Yes, just carry on going, you'll get there. Love that. So you mentioned about being emotionally available or emotionally unavailable. What do you mean by that?
So there's sort of a lot of women I work with, they tend to either be in cycles of attracting either emotionally unavailable men, or low effort men, or maybe controlling toxic relationships. But so emotionally unavailable is just where they can't really commit, or they're very inconsistent with that. It can be quite full on to start with, but then as things sort of evolve, they pull back, or their behaviour is confusing. They're not really, they're scared of relationships as well, so
right,
and you could keep on think, why do I keep on attracting that? But there is also a reason why, if you're keep on attracting emotionally unavailable men, or low effort men who want taken care of, and or or very controlling. There'll be a reason, and we all have attachment styles, and you can understand your attachment style and stuff, and it's not all to do with that. It can be, it's familiar, because it's wired in your nervous system. So that's what we have to kind of change, what you're attracted to, by tending to the emotional wounds. So then those people are no longer, you're not attracted to them, and they're not attracted to you. And it's all, what it is each relationship we have is it's giving you feedback. So if you're attracting the same thing, it's saying this is something that needs looking at. And so then we sort of delve into it to see, well, why is that happening? Okay, and what we're going to do to shift that pattern for you in your nervous system and in your wiring, and why you're attracted to it.
I suppose from that perspective, you really have to take responsibility for what you're kind of putting out.
Yeah.
Which isn't easy for people, because
you can be like, well, why? I know I'm a good person. Why am I attracting this back? But actually, when you do take full responsibility for like, okay, all the choices I've made, good and bad, they've all been mine. And even the bad one, like if I've made those choices, I remember thinking, okay, I'm going to take full responsibility for everything now and all my choices, and it was all my doing, and and all the experiences that I had, like bad experiences and everything. Like it's there's a common denominator here, like, and I was, but if I've made bad decisions, actually I can make better decisions, and that's what I'm going to work on now, making better decisions and learning how to like trust myself again. So, and I think when you take full responsibility, then it empowers you, because you're not like in the victim role where like life's just happening to me. And that is what I teach women, because I know what it feels like to feel in that like victim role. And so, but what it is we do is I teach you to be the intentional creator of your life, and then that takes your power back, and I show you exactly how to intentionally create your life. So you're no longer like life's just happening to you, and it's like, oh, I don't know why this is happening.
Yeah, yeah. And it's, I suppose, but is that kind of tricky, because the post you went with the psychics about you not trusting yourself to make decisions in relationships. So if you've got somebody that's gone, that's just had that light bulb moment going, oh my God, it's me.
Yeah.
Can that lead into fear about making decisions in relationships? Because there's a bit of a thing there.
Yeah, what I would say is, it's, again, that's why it's, as soon as you start having coaching, we'll start having go into sort of deep conversation, ask you questions, stuff, and even just being asked the right questions brings things into their light. So then you're like, that's when you have your light bulb moments, or in between sessions, you go off and you're processing everything that come up in the session. You're like, oh my God, that's why that was happening, or like it's and it's not. I don't want to create a. It's not like that's why I won't give. I can't guess that. It wouldn't be healthy for me to try and guess the answers, or I think I know what this is, and jump in and save them, because it might not be right, and also you're taking their power away. So it's not about creating a codependent relationship. It's like basically sort of, I suppose you're like almost reparenting in a way, to teach them how to trust themselves again. So that's baby steps. It's asking them questions to, like, so they can come to the right decisions, and so and each time they make a healthier decision, each time they put a boundary in, that builds your self-confidence, it builds your self-esteem, it changes the way you see yourself. And so each time you do it, you're like, oh, like if you've stood up for yourself and you put a boundary, you're like, nothing bad happens, and they're like, oh, that wasn't actually scary, because they know they've got me by their sides guiding them. And then that builds the confidence. So it's baby steps, each time it gets easier and easier.
That's it. Because I mean, when we talk about confidence, like, I always say your brain needs data. So you can't think yourself confident.
No,
like, it can't happen. Like, you need to do something.
You do have to take action as well.
Yeah, and then your brain will go, "Oh, we're safe here. That was all right. That weren't too bad." So we'll try the next step.
I remember the first time when I was like putting like boundaries in with somebody who I found very difficult to put boundaries in. It wasn't in romantic relationships, and I was like, "Oh my God, nothing bad happened. That was all right." Like, not like it's not like, it's always like, if I speak up for myself, that like I'm going to lose everything, the world's going to end, like that's how bad I would feel about speaking up for myself. Like, but I think also grading you from when you're a child. If you speak up for yourself against your parents, you don't want to upset your parents, for instance, because they are your world, so you don't want to necessarily upset people. So that it can be, like, you can carry that forward, and you feel like, if I speak up for myself, just everyone's going to be upset,
Yeah, do you know what? When you said about parents, like how many things did parents used to say, like, back in the day, like, I want never gets. So you get a lot of adults that go, when you go, right, what do you want out of life? It's almost like a fear.
Dream on, dream on, girl.
And children should be seen and not heard. So the amount of people that will be scared to go, actually, I don't agree with that behaviour, or that makes
your voice is not important.
And it's like, you look back now and you think, oh my God, they weren't doing it on purpose to, like,
they were told the same thing.
Exactly that. And you just think, like, I can remember way back on about 5 years ago in coaching, and the coach asked me, what do you want? And I felt instantly uncomfortable, and I couldn't tell you why at the time, until about an hour later, once we'd been talking to him, and I was like, I want never gets.
Yeah.
Literally. I was like, oh my God. I
And
am
you don't even,
44
quite
years
often
old.
you don't even know, like when you're talking, it's, you know, when when I first asking a client about their, well, what do you want in a relationship, or what do you need? They're like, what? You know, like it's just
Yeah,
like,
it's
you know,
really
because it's like,
uncomfortable.
because they've always thought about what the other person needs and not what their needs are, or what their, yes, and all that programming. This is what I remember when I first, in that 3 months, beginning of the 3 months, I was like, right, I'm going to just sit about reprogramming my brain, like as if it was a computer, and all of that stuff that was put in there was never my beliefs in the first place. And I'm now going to choose what the beliefs I want to have, not the beliefs that were just handed down to me from people, and then they were handed down to them, you know, or the beliefs you pick up from school kids or teachers or whatever. All of our programming, everyone, you know, like they weren't my beliefs. They were just what I've just absorbed. So now
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah,
actually choose my beliefs and intentionally create my beliefs for what I actually want to create.
yeah.
And so that is it. Yeah. So it's yeah, I love it.
And it's quite empowering when you realise
Yeah.
actually you've been living by a belief that you've carried probably all your life
Yeah.
from somebody just saying something really
Yeah.
simple, and you've just carried it on all that time
Yeah. Exactly.
without even realising.
I know. I know. Like, I mean, remember when I first went for like coaching, and like when clients would speak, it's like they're like, "Oh my god, it's like sobering up." It's sort of like, you know, like kind of like, you know, actually seeing things clearly for the first time, or like putting glasses on and go, "Oh my god."
I did have a friend once, and he turned around and when he had the light bulb moment, he said, "The only way I could put it is that I was standing in the middle of a bustling town, and I was standing there suddenly with no clothes on." I was like, "Oh my god, you had one hell of a light bulb moment."
Oh,
I was like, "I quite like that."
it is. It's like and I think that it's like being asleep, isn't it? And
Yeah,
then and suddenly, like so many people could maybe just you could sleepwalk through your whole life, you know, and
yeah,
just trying to keep other people happy and not really understanding why you feel. I just rather think, right, I can feel I'm not happy with something, or like something else is coming up, like because the work always is ongoing, but I'd just rather deal with stuff and understand myself better and move through stuff. And a lot of people can be scared of it because they're like, oh, I don't want to talk about stuff, or it's painful or whatever. But you say you could be more painful not, you know, not dealing
yeah.
with it and
Yeah, I
trying to
do.
push it down.
Yeah, I find you get people that have been in relationships for a while, and they are constantly moaning about the same problem.
Oh yeah, the same thing will always come up over and over
Yeah,
again.
over and over again, and it could go on years and years, and in your head you're thinking, why don't you leave? But I honestly believe that, well, humans don't like change,
No,
so
yeah,
it's sometimes people will stay in the shitty relationship
yeah.
because it's
You,
the familiar, even though it's shit, is easier.
yeah, yeah, and it's like they become comfortable with being uncomfortable, but then but I believe that also when you don't move, life will keep making you more uncomfortable until it's so uncomfortable that you can't not move. Yeah, but I know what you mean. Or
Yeah,
people sometimes think, oh, it's better to be with somebody than nobody. But I think you can feel lonelier in the wrong relationship than you can
yes,
by yourself. So you know, like it's. And I think, you know, I know myself, like when we don't move, life will sometimes have a way of like, okay, she's not moving. I'm going to make this
yeah.
so
We need
uncomfortable
a
that she
bigger
has
arm, a bigger
no
arm.
choice.
Yeah,
Yeah. So sometimes when you feel like life is literally like, oh my god, everything is crumbling around me, it's has to do that. So life can put you back on the right path, and you can put things back together in a much more beautiful way where you can be so much happier. But sometimes everything does have to fall apart for that to happen.
that's it. We learn lessons from it. And
Yeah.
we learn, I think we learn a lot about ourselves in the tough times.
Yeah. Oh, because unfortunately, yeah, I mean, it does crack you open, and that's when you do get to know yourself a bit more, and you do grow, and you come back with a story, and you like, you know, and then you've embodied something new, or like a new superpower that you didn't have before. So we don't want to always just be learning through the hard stuff. Like I've
No.
been like recently, I'm like, okay, I'm happy to learn through the good stuff. Like
Yeah, yeah.
keep learning through the
Life's a
bad stuff,
balance.
the
Yeah.
hard stuff. But yeah, it does, like pain, you know, it's the point of pain where like the light enters. What's that say? What's that saying? There's a saying, isn't it? It's like you kind of like when you're cracked open, the light can enter. So
Yes.
the point of pain that the light enters, and so yeah, I mean, even in the hardest times, I know like a couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with colon cancer, and but I think, and I'm fine now, like luckily, but it was. I just remember thinking, I'm just going to look for the blessings, which is that, and I would just so like, it's just like, okay, just trust the process, look for the blessings, keep talking to myself, like saying, I'm well, I'm well. And I just thought that there was blessings that came from that situation. So I think like your mindset and how you talk to yourself,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
like rather than going, oh my God, I'm sick, and like, letting your mind spiral to all the worst places, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah, like it definitely cracked me open to a whole new level of consciousness. So which wouldn't necessarily happen if like
yeah.
it just takes you a bit deeper each time.
Yeah, absolutely. But we live and learn.
We do, yeah, yeah, exactly.
I love that. And you're out here kind of giving hope to so many people, when they've just had a really shitty time,
Oh,
whether
oh well,
a
it's like
breakup or multiple failed relationships or anything like that. It's like you are like this beaming light.
honestly, it's my like passion and purpose. I couldn't like not like I love it. I couldn't not do it. It's just yeah. I just like it just lights me up. And when I see the light come back on in somebody else's eyes, and we do have to kind of just like it's just so nice when you can see them like their change, even the way they speak changes. Like I see the transformation in real time, and it's just like, or how they start dealing with things and their behaviors, or how they stand up for themselves, or how they make different choices. And I'm just like. I'm like, oh my god, it's so good. I just get like, oh, like when they get swept off their feet by somebody amazing, and like, I'm like, oh, he just asked me to be his girlfriend. I just want to see flowers, or like, oh, like yeah, like we've met each other's kids, and it's all so lovely, and like I've never been treated like this, or like you've changed my life. Like that is, oh god, it's like air. I love it. It's just like
Yeah.
that is just the best feeling ever. So it may as well feel like it's happening to me at the same time. It's just so exciting. So
I
it's
I absolutely love
just dropping that personal history and having somebody to believe in you, love you until you like love yourself, and just showing you, okay, like I know the way, like come with me.
I love that. So where can people find you if they're like, right, I need a bit of Lara in my life.
Yeah.
I need my hand holding. Where can people find you?
So I mainly hang out at, well, I'm trying to like get into Instagram a bit more. So I am on Facebook, I am on Instagram, like, so it's Lara Lee Caine on Facebook, and on LinkedIn on there as well, quite a bit. So Lara Lee Caine on LinkedIn and Facebook, might be Lara Lee Coaching, I'm not sure, on Instagram. My website's laraleecoaching.com. So then all the links would be on there.
Yeah.
Um, so
So
yeah,
do you work with people one on one or groups? How
yeah,
how
no, I'm
how
not
do you
doing
run
it.
it?
Yeah, I'm only doing one. I do one on one, and I offer like different sort of levels of packages. So it's available to everyone depending on where they are and what they want to do. So yeah, it's but I like the one on one. I know eventually people have to sometimes then go on to groups and one on one, but I think it's really nice to have that really personal one
I,
on, like
I
somebody
think I
buys
think you're
just from
right,
you.
especially where relationships are concerned,
It's so
because
private, and yeah,
it is private and confidential, and a lot of people struggle to open up about their relationships
yeah.
as well. So I can imagine in a group setting that's quite difficult.
Yeah, exactly. So I just love that it's very intimate, personal, one-on-one, just like my eyes on that person's, and also because you are creating that safe space where they can say anything, where there's no judgment, like it's you have to feel free, like you're safe to be able to speak about anything and everything, and and
Yeah,
like even when we're talking about hard stuff, it's still like we still find yourself laughing, because even like the ridiculous stuff, even the like we just like you've got somebody to share it with, and you haven't got a sense of what you're saying, or like you when you're talking to friends and family, even if you're close, you'll still sense of what you say to a point where it's having
yes.
somebody who's there just for you, where you can just like, right, I'm going to save all this stuff out and just unleash you, like just.
Yeah. I'm just going to let it all out.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
And I
So
can tell
yeah.
that you won't look at them funny or anything like that, because you've heard it all before, haven't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. There's like, yeah, I'm completely unshockable. So yeah, so like yeah, so I'm always on. I'm quite active on all of those platforms, really. So I'm always my DMs are always open. Just send me a message if they like want to just have a conversation.
I love that. Last question. It's always the hardest. People hate this one. Tell me 3 good things about yourself.
Oh my god, I wasn't expecting that. Oh, okay, God, and I should be able to do this because I encourage others to do it.
Yes.
I'm very intuitive. I would say like that's kind of a bit of a superpower. I'm intuitive, and oh my god, where's my mind
It's
gone?
because I put you on the spot, you see.
Oh god, very very compassionate, and I think well, I'm very wise. I would say.
I think so because I think you have to be able to deal with relationships because I
Yeah,
do believe they are probably the most dramatic,
yeah,
have the highest stress.
yeah. They really
If
do.
you think about it, most people's problems are other people.
Yeah, I know. And
Yeah.
but I would say it is like even the most difficult people, and I know this from my lived experience, the most difficult people are actually your like best teachers. They are
Yeah.
they are like, and they are a blessing even when they don't feel like a blessing. Quite often they are a blessing because you're like, oh God, that person really like every relationship we have can really teach you something. You can really take something amazing away from it, even like the hardest ones, in whatever capacity that relationship shows up in your life. You know that the hardest people in our life can be our greatest teachers. So
Yeah.
we just reframe it. We take the good, like
Yes.
we put them like cast iron boundaries in.
I love your mindset. It's amazing. Absolutely incredible. My lovely, you've been a fantastic guest. And I really recommend that any lady that's either just split up from somebody or, thinking about dating or in a relationship that's not going very
Yeah,
well, look, literally just reach out to Lara.
yeah.
Because
Just we'll just have a
yeah, you
conversation.
are absolutely incredible. Your posts every day make me smile. I'm expected to see a post tomorrow going, tell me 3 good things about
Oh
yourself.
yeah. I was like, oh my god, what's going on? My mind went blank.
I've been called all the names under the sun when I've dropped that question.
Like I love pink. I don't know. Like,
I love it. Thank you so much. You've been
oh, I've loved this
a great
conversation. Thank
inspiration.
you.
Thank you. You take care.